A new year doesn't always have to mean a new man, but a good New Year's resolution for the man in your life should be better hygiene. Get him the best electric trimmer in men's grooming with Manscaped's Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take down every pube in his path with their advanced skin-safe technology. Talk about a movement I can get behind. Manscaped has also developed a complete hygiene bundle, the Performance Package 4.0, or as I like to call it, the perfect package for his perfect package. How about if your man has wild, and not our kind of wild, but wild nose and ear hairs? Manscaped has you covered. Their Weed Whacker will change the game for whacking the worst weeds. Get 20% off and free shipping with code ROCKY at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code ROCKY. The new year is here. Upgrade your man with Manscaped. And Happy New Year to his ball. I love sharing stories about my wild nights, sex and drugs and rock and roll, but this week, it feels icky to do that. We've had mass shooting after mass shooting like it ain't no thing. And before we could catch our breath, the police murdered another black man. And no, not Keenan Anderson. He was a few weeks ago. He was a teacher who was tased to death by the LA police not even a month ago. I'm talking about Tyree Nichols, killed by the Memphis police. And maybe you're thinking, I'm talking so cavalierly about this, and I sort of am. I'm disassociating a bit because I can't understand how we aren't all banding together harder to end this. It's police murdering. Please, I beg you to call it murder moving forward. That's what it is. Police murdering. And it's nothing new. The cameras are just getting way better, and because the cameras are better and social media is better, you're just now learning the severity of this motherfucking epidemic, because before that, maybe you didn't know. This is what cops do. But you know now, this is what they've been doing. And maybe you're even further removed. Maybe your bubble is so safe you didn't know how goddamn severe this is. And there is a part of me that can't even blame a person if you're listening and you haven't been able to comprehend what's going on. You're just going, la, 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 my life is good here in America. If I just keep my head in the clouds, shop and go to brunch, I'm just going to keep enjoying my life and my privilege and scroll past the news. Maybe this news isn't even in your algorithm. You are so untouched in your bubble. And there's a part of me that isn't even mad at you. Because maybe up until this point, you were never given the tools and you were never given the information. Life is fucking scary and we're all built to survive, like it or not. And if la 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 has gotten you this far, well, motherfucking kudos to you. But you're here now. And you're listening to my podcast right now. So that ends for you today. Now, I'm giving you the opportunity to join the side of reality. Your choice naivete is part of the reason why black men are becoming hashtags left and goddamn right. Wait, how is this my fault? I'm literally not a racist. How is this my fault? I vote Democrat in every election. It's your fault because your choice naivete favors the oppressor. Turning a blind eye allows this to keep happening. Do you understand that? And I'm not making fun of you even though I was doing voices. But do you understand? Every time you let your uncle make a racist joke, that keeps the ripple of hate alive. Every time your parent utters a microaggression without being told why it's wrong, that is a ripple of hate that you kept alive. Every time someone says blue lives matter around you and you don't educate them, that unless they are a Smurf or a friend of Doug Funny's, that blue lives aren't a thing. It's a phrase that was created to combat the phrase Black Lives Matter, as if the two are the same, as if a job you've chosen to do and that ends when you go home, is the same as being murdered for your skin color. People say blue lives matter, as if police were being hunted the way Black Americans are hunted by police. Don't ever be afraid to challenge what's wrong, because every time you don't challenge it, the ripples of hate get stronger, and it only gets closer to your white picket fence and your semi-charmed kind of life. And some people may disagree with my way of approaching these types of people, and that's fine. But I can only work off my experience and what's worked for me and the successful conversations that I've had in the past. And whether you like it or not, I say you gotta approach people like this not on the defense. They might be a little more fragile than you. Even though they act angrier, more erratic, that's usually a sign that there's more going on internally. So don't approach them on the defense. And by them, I mean your circle of people, your loved ones that are the boomers, the Gen X generation, your racist millennial and Gen Z high school friends. Fuck it, your grandparents. Have conversations. These people, these older people who are making these comments, they're not dumb. You might find them to be ignorant. They might not exactly be street smart. You might find them annoying. But if they're living to over 80, they're dumb like a fox, okay? So have some real compassionate conversations about where their hate and racism comes from. Ask why. You can affect change, and you have to. Your life literally depends on it. If you believe in signs from the universe, this is your sign that you must find a ripple of hate and stop it from spreading. Think of yourself as a mouth condom. Sure, none of us like wearing condoms. And maybe it's easier. And for a few minutes, oh my God, we're raw dogging, baby, and it feels real good. But what happens when it's over? Maybe the next morning, you get the morning after pill for $50. Or you put a shower nozzle up your pussy while you pray, or you scrub your dick with a Brillo pad, or you douche your asshole. Maybe you go get tested until you know you're in the clear, but you have knots in your stomach until you get any results. Or maybe you don't get tested because you're a little scaredy child adult, and then you end up spreading your shit STD to somebody else. Maybe this time you're fine, but it is a numbers game. And if you keep on raw dogging life and not using your words and power as condoms to combat racism, then you're as irresponsible as they come. The disease of racism has no antibiotic. There's no topical gel that's going to save this country. What's going to save the country is connection and conversation. What's going to save the country is love and empathy. So stop thinking you can't affect change. Cut that shit out. And please, please, especially if you're white, do not try to argue against this murder or try to come up with some point or comment that the 5 officers who killed him were black. So it's not a race thing. Please don't say that ever. The institution is built on racism. It's rotten from the inside, okay? Putting on that uniform is an agreement to work for an institution that was created with intention to patrol and harm black communities. Anyone who murders humans for sport is so devoid of love that there's almost no hope. But choosing to play for the other team and murdering someone who knows your struggle and pain is so hollow and so hopeless. They must have hated themselves every day when they put on those uniforms. America, your ripples of hate create people who hate themselves. Your ripples of hate create monsters who walk among us. Now you know better, so do fucking better. And just remember, the next time you go to defend the institution of policing, if police were meant to serve and protect, they would fix your broken taillight that they pulled you over for in the middle of the night, instead of giving you a bill for it and letting you go. If you were lucky enough to be let go. It's time for the Rocket Rundown. Welcome to the Rocky Rundown, where you get to learn a little bit about my week. Party God Squad, did you have a good week? I sure hope so. I hope you asked, what can my country do for me? Instead of, what can I do for my country? Tax money's not getting us shit, everyone. Everybody has 2 jobs. Uber Eats won't accept my returns anymore. Is there anything more un-American than that? I guess too many of my orders have shown up quote unquote cold. I've been grappling lately, and I don't know if it's nostalgia. How do you guys say that word? Nostalgia? We're all in agreement that the G is loud, but the L is silent. Nostalgia. I've been feeling nostalgic lately for a time when we weren't all in an insane rush to do everything. But maybe we were always impatient. Pizza places would give you your pizza for free if they took over 30 minutes to deliver it, so I don't know. Speaking of Uber, I took an Uber the other morning, and he had the radio on, and the caller called in, and I wasn't paying attention to the conversation between the DJ and the caller. But as I was getting out, she was hanging up, and the DJ says, "Hey, thanks for calling, and enjoy your morning, Rocky." Her name was Rocky. I did this double take at the front seat, and I almost said something to the driver, but he wouldn't have known or cared. But literally, as I was opening the door, he said, "Enjoy your day, Rocky." Is that a simulation, or is that just a coincidence? That doesn't happen to Oprah when she listens to the radio, is the only point I'm trying to make. When Lil Wayne is waiting for his name to be called at the DMV, they aren't calling out for Wheezy F Baby. And then when he gets to the counter, they say, "Oh, no, not you, sir. The other Wheezy F Baby." When you heard Rihanna was doing the Super Bowl halftime show, no one said, "Which Rihanna?" I was doing some grade A matching on Hinge because sometimes I like to get my Jesse Jackson on and keep hope alive. And this dude and I were talking. And it's looking like our interests are aligning, okay? Which is a hard thing to figure out on a dating site chat because, frankly, it's hard to even keep a conversation going on a dating site chat. But we're giving it a go. And he says he likes the ganja. And I said, "You know I like the ganja." And he said he likes to laugh. And I said, "Laugh is my middle name." And at the rate names are going, probably a bunch of other people's middle names too. And he lives in my neighborhood, which you know your girl likes to keep it local. Not the Mile High Club, but the Mile Round Club. Burrow hopping is for the birds. Fangs with wangs. I'm trying to find commonality within my zip code, okay? I'm trying to walk with you to the polling station. So we're talking and we're vibing, and he's 6 foot, which is an irrelevant detail, but I gave it anyway. And then he asked me out. A spurt of goo spritzed my panties. A date. Time passes, and he says to me, "By the way, I've been growing out my facial hair, and that's not in my pictures. I didn't want you to think I was a catfish." I don't care about the facial hair if we're keeping it a bill. In fact, I prefer it. So my response, "All good. Thanks for the beards up." You guys get it? Thanks for the beards up instead of the heads up. And he did not respond back. I'm sorry, bro. If you can't handle me at my punniest, then you'll never get me at my funniest. I think I swallowed a pun machine when I was young because I can't stop spitting them out. It's a conveyor belt of cute, and this guy is not qualified to operate the machinery. By the way, if anyone's hiring a writer for adult cartoon porn, I said the sentence, "A spurt of goo spritzed my panties," like my name was goddamn Jackie Collins, and we just whoosh, brushed over it. I'm actually a tiny bit sad the Hinge guy fell flat because lately guys have been making murder jokes in their profiles. Yes, murder jokes in their dating profile bios. First of all, if you're swiping yes on a man who has the words Hannibal Lecter, nice head, but it'd look better in my freezer, or kill anywhere in his profile, congratulations on thinning out the herd of single women. You can't say he didn't warn you, girl. And I'm not even going to tell men to take that out of their profiles. Keep it in. We should be given the gift of transparency. We decide from there if we want to see through it. Stop matching with men who are making murder jokes in their profiles, okay? I have been the legal guardian of a cat recently. My friends are on their honeymoon because I'm sure they avoided digital puns when they were originally connecting with each other virtually. And while I've been the legal cat guardian, she is warming up to me. But today I was looking over at her, and I was just so grateful that I don't have a tail. Everything about it seems inconvenient. It's like having a lazy bone, a body part you can't fold, you can't pick up stuff with it. The thing is never fully hard. The thing is never fully soft. It just is. May we never evolve to have tails. That brings us to Rocky's highest thoughts, my most stoned thoughts of the week. Number 1, Sam Smith. Looks like they're the child of James Corden and Mac Miller. Number 2, there really are people out here that don't like potatoes, and I don't get it. Number 3, was Charlie Chaplin low-key hot? Number 4, we should all start folding the toilet paper in a little triangle when we're done. That's called effort, and I bet you the next person will really appreciate it. And number 5, do you think that Prince Harry ever sang along to Royals by Lorde? My guest this week is comedian Steph Jonez. I am so lucky to have locked Steph in, and her wild word was WTF. And when you listen to her story, you'll find out exactly why. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Wild Nights with Rocky, on Twitter at Wild Nights Pod. If you want to watch extended interviews with all of my guests, please subscribe to me on YouTube. You can support the show with your wallets for $2 or $5 a month by joining my Patreon. A big thank you and a future thank you to everyone who's written and everyone who will write a review on Apple Podcasts. It really does make a difference. And now, please enjoy my Wild Nights conversation with Steph Jonez. Steph Jonez, welcome. Thank you for doing the podcast.
Thank you for having me, actually. We finally got it together.
I know. I'm so excited. Honestly, can I just tell you that my mom has been asking about you because I'll give the backstory. So you're famous
This
in
is
my
a
parents'
surprise.
house.
This
Yes.
is a surprise.
You're famous to my mom. Like, she's obsessed because I've had Ace Sanders on the show, who is our mutual friend, and he was like, you gotta get Steph on. And I was like, let me check out Steph. I trust Ace's word, so let me check out Steph. So I had been home visiting my parents, and me and her sat down and we watched your stuff. And she and I were just sitting there cracking up to the point my father came downstairs and he was like, what are you watching? She's like, shh. We're watching Steph Jonez.
Oh my.
And so when I told her that I booked you for the show, she was like, oh my God, Steph, did you record with Steph? So we're fans.
So you tell her this is dedicated to her.
Okay. So she's listening right now, I'm sure.
All right.
She always
What's her name?
Her name is Lee.
Lee, hi.
Hi, Mom. All right. So, Steph,
yes.
You've got a comedy show later today, and
yes,
life is wild. Even though it's just January, things have been ramping up. It's been ramping up so fast it'll make you say, "What the fuck? WTF?" And
yes.
Steph's wild word for us was, "What the fuck? WTF?" So, Steph, take us into your wild night story. WTF?
All right. So we're going to. I'm going to give you guys. I'm going to make the name up. Right?
Okay. Yes.
We're gonna protect the person.
Protect the innocent and not so innocent. Absolutely.
There you go. So this happened. So and I want to say this because I don't want. The reason why I'm saying this happened a very, very long time ago. This happened a very long time ago.
Okay.
I must have been about 24, 25. So this was a very long time ago.
Okay.
My birthday's in April.
Oh, me too.
So April what?
29th.
April 19th. Boom.
April babies. Gotta love it.
We're amazing. So I used to work for Mount Sinai Hospital. So one of my closest friends, her name is Stephanie too. So she's like, and I used to love, this is not the not the first, but yes. So but I still do love Naughty by Nature, like one of my favorite rap groups. So she's like, bitch, I got us tickets to go see Naughty by Nature at the Apollo. Nice. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. So we go. I lived in Queens still then, and she lived in Harlem. So we left work. We got to we decided what we were gonna do, how we were gonna meet and everything like that. So we met up and we went to the Apollo and we did our little. We saw our show. So at the show, there's always an intermission.
Yeah.
So we went to the back to get a drink, and here is the person. We're gonna call him Jerry. Jerry. He's a celebrity. So Jerry's there, and Jerry and I catch eye contact, and I'm like, okay, I used to have a little crush on Jerry.
Yeah.
So Jerry and I catch eye contact, and then we stare, we smile, the fake, I'm gonna let you know I'm looking at you so you can look at me and you can come over to me, that kind of stuff. Yes, exactly. So my girlfriend and I go, we sit down, but I take my time because Jerry's behind me. So Jerry and I walk, and I'm going to my seat, and Jerry comes over to me, and he actually hands me his phone number. And see, this was back in the day. We didn't have pull out your phone shit and take my number. No, absolutely not. So I take Jerry's number, and the crazy thing is, I was very I still am a very outgoing person. I'm just a little bit more mature about it now, but I was very outgoing. So as we were leaving, Jerry comes up to me and he's like, make sure you call me. Please don't forget to call me. I'm like, I'm not going to call you. He was like, you know what? I just want to ask you one question because you're so beautiful. Would you give me a kiss? So Stephanie gave Jerry a kiss right in the Apollo. That was the first thing, okay? So second thing is, get back home. My girlfriend and I, now we're screaming, right? We're screaming, we're acting like two fucking teenagers. I get back to her house because I was going to spend the night. So I called my cousin. I'm like, girl, you won't believe I just tongued down Jerry in the Apollo, blah, blah. She's sitting there saying, I wanted to fucking tongue down Jerry in the Apollo. Like, that was my dream tongue down person,
Yeah.
So moving forward, a couple of days later, I call him because I didn't believe it was his number. So was his number. So we make an arrangement to meet. He's going to come pick me up because I didn't drive or anything at that time.
I have to ask you, wait, let me ask you this. So this is a big deal. He's a celebrity. You are about to call a celebrity. I'm assuming, and it might be a wrong assumption, but was this the first celebrity you've ever had to make a phone call to?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the first. So do you do any kind of prep? Are you writing stuff in the mirror? Are you like going back and forth, or you just wing it?
I wing everything in life.
Okay, love it.
Even my comedy, I wing it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. I said, this is it. I'm gonna call. I call Jerry, and we're speaking on the phone. And I'm like, I was like, So that's what I did say though. I actually did say that in my head. I was like, I'm just gonna say, I really didn't believe that this was your number. I thought you were gonna, bullshit me. So he's like, no, I thought you were absolutely beautiful. I wanted to meet you. I wanted to talk to you. He's like, so, now we arrange a date.
Okay.
So Jerry picks me up, and I mind you gotta live. I live in the hood, right? I lived on Farmers Boulevard, South Jamaica.
Yeah.
So, and I lived over a crappy tire shop. It was my first apartment.
Yeah.
I lived over a crappy tire shop. Negroes on across the street selling their drugs. Like, this is the whole scene, right? And I'm over a storefront with a big flashing light, tires fixed and shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're coming to pick me up? And he's like, yeah. So I said, all right. So he came and picked me up, a beautiful little, like I want to say it was a limo, but it was a smaller version. I don't know. It's a smaller car.
Like so a mini limo.
Yeah. So driver comes, like I'm dressed up, everybody, I'm getting fly and whatever like that. So now this is a very key part to the story, right?
Okay.
Because I'm a big girl.
Okay.
And I was never into stilettos. I was, and it's crazy because I was into chunky heels. Now chunky heels are out. So I was a chunky heel queen, okay?
Yes, I'm with you on that. And
bell bottoms, I used to love them.
So they're back, by the way. Bell bottoms are back.
So I put my little chunky heels on, my jeans, my shirt, and I'm getting dressed, my makeup. So actually, my cousin was in hairstyling, like she wanted to become a beautician. So she wanted to see if she could put braids in my hair, and she did. So I was actually looking really cute because I had braid. Like I was killing it.
Yeah.
So I go downstairs, and everybody looking out the window, and the driver comes and he opens the door, and I get in, and I'm like flabbergasted now because I'm like, it's really freaking this, like it's really him.
Yeah.
So we get in the car, we're talking and everything. Now here's the crazy thing: like people don't really. The one thing I will say about celebrities, they do think they have this upper hand over you. And because I was young and I'm flabbergasted, but I'm not a dumb chick, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so we're in the car, we drive, we go, he's like, what do you want to eat? So we went to a restaurant, and I'm trying to remember the name of the restaurant, so I can't remember the name of the restaurant.
Yeah.
But it was in Manhattan. So we drive, we go, we eat. Everybody's making a big deal over this, right? Everybody's making a big deal over this because they see this person. Now I'm feeling like, all right, this is it. Yeah. So we go, we eat, we have a beautiful night. We have an absolutely beautiful night. So we get back in the car. Let me move you over here because somebody's calling me and I don't want to talk to them. So we get back in the car. So now he's real touchy-feely, right? He's real touchy-feely.
Did anybody come up to the table and ask for a picture or anything?
Yeah, 2 people did, actually.
Wow.
2 people did. Oh my God, I wonder if those pictures, I never even got the pictures. I wonder who those people, like, that's crazy now that I think about it.
Somebody has pictures from those nights.
Oh my God. So we get back in the car and we're driving back home, and I'll never forget because I always loved the bridge, like how the bridge looks when it's lit up.
Yeah.
So we're driving and we're talking and we're kissing, doing little things here and there. Now he's like, he has a thing for feet. Ooh. So then he looks at my shoe and he's like, I want you to, like, he was into like, almost like, I guess with the stiletto. So this is the funny part because most men who are into that kind of kinky stuff, it's a stiletto. Yeah. So I'm sitting here saying, if I step on you with this big ass chunky heel, I'm breaking your fucking neck. Like, there's no way this is sexy. This chunky fucking heel, I'll put you in a coma. Like, I don't know what to do with this fucking chunky heel. Like, that's not sexy. So he was like, looking at the shoe, and we're like both saying this ain't gonna work. But so he's like, well, can I see your feet? So I take my shoes off, and he sees my feet, and he wants to kiss my toe, and I'm like, okay, this is getting a little weird because I'm like, I'm not, that I've never had anybody else.
It's new, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm used to just fucking a little like my mouth gets crazy, but like I'm like
anything you want on here, yeah.
I'm like, I'm like a fuck bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I'm not into this shit right here. Like, so
this is the foreplay we can skip. Yeah. No, thank you.
He's like, kisses my toes and stuff like that. But now he's getting a little too aggressive.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, this is not going well because now I felt like I'm being pressured. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't think I want to do this. I don't think I want to do this. So he's like, he's trying to force it. So now I'm sitting here saying, now I'm actually going to have to use my chunky heel and knock this motherfucker out because he's not understanding that I don't want to do this.
Gotcha.
So we kissed, we messed around a lot. And then I said to him, you know what? I really think I want to go home. So he was like, well, if you want to go home, I'll take you home. If you don't want to have sex, can I just go down on you? And I'm thinking, damn, once he gets my pants down, it's going to be so easy for him to get his pants down.
Yeah.
But then I said, when will I ever have a moment where Jerry is ever going to go down on me? So I said, you know what, Jerry, you promised to keep your dick in your pants.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go down on me. So Jerry went down on me. It was a beautiful, beautiful moment. I can tell you, he has to be one of the best. And he kept his fucking promise, and I didn't have to scream rape, and the driver took me home.
Oh, he did it in the limo.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was amazing. It was fucking phenomenal. So the driver took me, after it was all over, the driver, he tapped and told the driver, we'll take her home. You can take her home like that. And he asked me if I wanted to see him again, and I said yes, but we actually never saw each other again. But I had the best head ever in a limo by Jerry.
Wow. Wow. And honestly, when it's good like that, you don't forget, celebrity or not. They become a celebrity in your heart. And I love the moment of you saying, like, when am I ever going to have this again? Because I've had that moment before where it's like the morning after or something, and he'll be like, oh, I just want to go down on you. And I'm like, I just want to drink my coffee in bed. But then you have to be like, oh, when was the last time somebody just said they want to go down on you? Just let the man do it. Yeah.
Exactly. Just let him do it. And then it's Jerry. Like, like, you know how bad I want to say it, but I'm like, I wouldn't do that.
Of course.
But it was great. It was great.
And so you didn't end up seeing each other again did you ever think like, let me reach out to him or anything like that? Or you put it on pause? You were like, yeah.
We spoke a couple of more times. Mm-hmm. We spoke. But as far as like hooking up and getting back together again, no. No. I thought he was a little too freaky for me. Like, I'm not that freak. I'm as I got older, I've become more freakier.
Right. Like, but he was moving
I'll take
a little
a good
faster.
choke. Yeah, he was like good. but it was like I was 23 and I'm sitting there like, like this is like, you know, like I wasn't exposed to that type of anybody I dealt with.
Yeah, like I think that, you know, sometimes you're just expected to be mature enough for certain sexual things, and some things sexual maturity comes when it comes for different levels of things that you do in the bedroom, or in your case, excuse me, the limo.
In the limo. Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
And it's funny that you say that. So I did a show by accident. I just happened to do a show I went out with a friend of mine. And he wanted to go see a friend of his do a show. It was like an open mic. Yeah. This was like 2 weeks ago. So we went to the open mic, and as you and your mom have seen some of my jokes, I talk about the anal joke.
That was the one we watched.
And the guy just said, you know, Steph, because I know him too. So he's like, Steph, just do 5 minutes. Come on, please just do 5 minutes. So I did 5 minutes. And I started with that. And it's funny because there was a couple, and they're cracking up. Yeah. And I'm like, so you know what so, you know, I interact with her, and I'm like, so you know what I'm talking about? And she goes, no, he does, because I'm the giver. Everybody, you know how when something is so unexpected. Yeah. Even I stood like,
okay, yeah.
Well, you just left me speechless in the middle of a set. We laughed, and it was just so funny. So that goes back to when you say, like, there's just certain things you're not, you know, sexually
mature enough for, and that's okay. Yeah. Like, everybody moves at their pace, and the important thing with becoming more sexually mature is that nobody pushes anybody's boundaries. And so it's very good that Jerry didn't push your boundaries. And I want to know this too. So this was a while ago. You said this was when you were 23. You have been doing comedy for how long now, would you say?
2 years.
2 years? Okay. 2 years. But you've been in the New York scene forever. Has there ever been a chance or any kind of encounter where you're like, could have seen Jerry or been at the same event as him?
I went to a concert with my girlfriend. She won tickets on BLS. Okay. And they were supposed, so he was in like a band, like a group thing, kind of. And we thought they were actually supposed to be there, but they didn't. And that was the first time I thought to myself, oh shit, how is this gonna end up? And that was like maybe 4 years ago. So I was like, I wonder what would happen. Like I was a little, see, I'm like a little nervous now. I'm like, oh my God, what would happen? Like, oh God, Jerry, you're making some fun things. Like, yeah, so.
Jerry's like, yes, I do. And he just pops out with your chunky heel. Like, I knew I lost that thing. Jerry. Freak ass Jerry.
Yeah, so that was the closest I've ever come to almost maybe running into him.
Almost seeing him. So you've been running around, you've been doing comedy for 2 years. And for you, what has changed in those past 2 years? Your opinion and your view of comedy, what has changed for you?
The fact that when I first started, I kind of started, it was a hobby. Okay. And I did it to fill a void because I had just lost my job, and I was actually still in school. I was actually going to school for nursing. And I just did it to because I was in an ASL class. I always tell this story. Yeah. And they kept saying, if you could make us laugh the way you make us laugh with no words, because we couldn't talk in the sign language class. They were like, you have to do this. And Sienna, her name is Sienna. And if she ever, and I speak to her from time to time, she's the person that encouraged me to go and like do an open mic in Manhattan. Yeah. And I did. And it was just a hobby. And then now what's changed from it being a hobby, it's something that I would love to grow into a full-blown career.
Wow. Yeah. Isn't it crazy how just one little spark of a compliment or just somebody seeing something in you that maybe you've already seen about yourself. I'm sure Sienna was not the first person to tell you were funny in your life.
No.
You know what I mean? But just one person just recognizing that gift that you have can change the whole trajectory of what you end up doing.
It is. And it's funny because, like I said, where I used to work, I worked for a healthcare facility for 29 years. 29 years, and that's when it was a whole big altercation with that. Mm-hmm. But I used to do any position, any role that I had. I think I had to be the comic relief. I had to be the fun. Yes, and then it came to the point where my final step in healthcare, I was a labor management facilitator. So I used to have to teach. I was groomed and prepped and prepared to teach. I used to teach classes on customer service and best practices in real time events in the hospital, so the patients felt like they were important. Yeah. And the classes I used to teach, there were two other facilitators, and literally my class was filled to capacity because it was the funnest class ever. Word got out. I must tell you that.
Yeah, yes. Word got out that you were the fun teacher, so people were learning and they were enjoying you. They were going for you.
Yeah. So my personality was always over the top.
Always shining through. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, I know that tonight you've got a show.
Yes, I do.
So we got to get you out of here to get to that show. But can you tell me? I know. This is so fun. Can you tell us and anybody listening what dates you have coming up, what shows, and where they can catch you?
Sure. So tonight and every Friday night, actually, I am in Brooklyn on Utica Avenue at BK Estates. I host with two other comics, a comedy game night. Mm-hmm. So it's not really telling. We're the comics, and we host like a game night, and we do little games and trivia with the audience.
Yeah.
The theme was supposed to be mimicked after Wild 'N Out. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the premise. It hasn't gotten to that yet.
Yeah.
But that's the premise. What he's trying to kind of.
So they're improv games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we're trying to get there. Right now, they're more like, trivia game. Like, we ask trivia, we ask. Yeah. So the improv part, we're kind of getting there. We haven't fully figured it out yet, but that's what we're trying to lead to.
Things take time.
Yes. On the 31st of January, I will be at a restaurant called Boca Prime in Harlem. And in February, I have a show in New Jersey, and please don't get me to tell you because I can't remember the address.
That's okay.
But it is a show in Jersey. I have a show in Astoria, in my new room. I have a room every third Saturday. Well, it's supposed to be the third Saturday, but it's been working out for us because the first one that we launched was MLK weekend. So it was a Sunday. So it's actually the January 19th. And it was amazing. It was amazing. So we're having the next one is February 19th.
Where in Astoria?
222-79 Steinway Street.
It's in Steinway? Okay. Yeah.
Bring your mom. Bring your mom.
You hear that, Mom? You got to come down. So that's going to become a monthly thing then, the Astoria show? I love that. Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Great. Good to know. You. Now, where can everybody follow you on social media?
So on social media, I am Steph, STEPH _JONEZ. And that's all my social media.
Amazing. Well, Steph, I cannot thank you enough for sharing that story, giving us a little bit of backstory on who Steph Jonez is. And this was just an amazing conversation. So I hope you have great shows tonight. And I look forward to seeing you in the future and chatting soon. All right?
Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll talk soon.